almost wrapping up this week. We've only got today and tomorrow left, and we're looking at the wars and rumors of wars and the conflicts that are going on in the world today. These are signs of the last days. Jesus prophesied that in Matthew 24, verses 5 and 6 and 7. And so we're just picking up on that this week, these wars and rumors of war that are going on. And as I said, as we closed yesterday, we have not seen armed conflict of a war level in North America for several hundred years. And as a result of that, most times we don't pay much attention to the intensity of warfare that's going on overseas, such as occurring in the Ukraine right now and has occurred in the past in a lot of those other countries like Afghanistan and the Middle East and so on. But I want you to know, as we look today at the fact we are in severe conflict here in North America and around the world. And I want to look at a different aspect, not the physical type of conflict, as much as the emotional, mental, spiritual type of conflict that's been going on. 2 or 3 years ago, 2020, we entered into a pandemic, as everybody knows, worldwide. And it led to tremendous amounts of fear and a lot of information that no one knew whether it was true or false. We had varying accounts that came from various sources. We had a very, very, very aggressive push by our governments, medical officials, that created tremendous, tremendous fear. But the net result of all that, if you allow me to share some thoughts, is that it turned people against people here in North America. It turned families against families. It turned employees against employers. If you did not comply with your employer's mandates and demands, you lost your job. Even though you were capable, even though you were healthy, even though you had standards, even though you had the freedom of speech, the freedom of belief, the freedom of religion, and so on and so forth. We saw what I would call kingdom against kingdom rise up in our societies, and I'm focusing mostly on North America, whereby we had conflict between parties, between families, within personal families. We had conflict. I had, within my own extended family, we had family members who refused to come around other family members. And for them, unfortunately, a lot of that still continues. Freedoms were attacked. Freedom of religion was attacked heavily. We had to close our church down for months. People could not come to church. Stores were closed. Restaurants were closed. Libraries were closed. Sports facilities were closed. Only some big box stores and grocery stores were allowed to remain open, and then they were restricted in many, many ways. Healthcare emergencies came under tremendous attack and still do, and we have so much confusion. We have such bad manners now. Just to give you a couple of examples, I'm sure you already know these things, but it's dangerous to be a teacher in a school now. Here in Ontario, being a teacher has been added to the list of dangerous jobs, along with things like mining and so on, things that are really physically dangerous. Teaching's become dangerous because of the violence in the schools. Being a doctor or a nurse in a hospital has become a dangerous position. People are so angry and so frustrated that they scream, they holler, they shout. In stores, they implemented this 6-foot rule. They put things on the aisles and on the floors, and if you stepped an inch over the line, you had people screaming at you. Our values shifted. We had new systems that came into being. One of the ones that seems to have caused the greatest concern for people is the woke, the left-leaning, left-driven mandates. It's absolutely causing everything to be turned upside down. And people are afraid to even speak now because what they say might be considered to be racist or misogynist or homophobic or some other term like this. We got warfare going on. We got kingdom against kingdom. You might be in one kingdom and other people are in another kingdom. We've got gender insanity all around us. The two basic genders as described in Scripture, in the book of Genesis, they still exist, but they don't really exist because you can be one of over 100 different genders. And all you have to do today, this is how insane things have become, is self-identify. And that is received as a fact, and everybody has to toe the line to that, even though it may be completely a sham. It's unbelievable. A teacher with 40 years of experience, multiple degrees in the area of concentration, recently fired for sharing comments from a report, a government report that summarized what the truth is about a situation, spoke out of that report, fired because that was against the left-leaning, woke-leaning agenda of the school. It's almost impossible for us to define things now. Things are so crazy. Freedom of speech, newly defined as this: you have the right, you have the freedom to say anything you want as long as I agree with it. Well, how will I know if you agree with it? But if we say something you don't agree with, then that is considered to be hate speech, and so on and so forth. These are perilous times. So we may not have physical contact. We may not have armed tanks in the streets and howitzers going off and drones dropping grenades. But in a different sense, we have all the detrimental effects of a war going on because of the way this mental assault, emotional assault, belief assault is occurring in our societies today. Jesus prophesied this, although we don't really see it that way. I'm hoping that I've helped you realize that this attack that we're under, in terms of how we say things and what we say and who we say them to and so on, this is as much an attack where a nation comes against a nation or a kingdom against a kingdom as any physical war would be. We are in the last days. I'll see you tomorrow to wrap up this week. Thanks for joining us.